Yo, what's up, Dyke? You mentioned there's some tier lists out there in the wild. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, man, but I actually haven't showed them on screen yet. You guys actually want to take a look at them? We can discuss them for a little bit. Some Japanese tier lists we can look at. All right, so check this out, chat. This is actually the list right here when it comes to the actual tier list that they made. So apparently this was a stream that these players got together and they were just talking about their general overall opinions about the game thus far. And I guess at the end, after they talked about like the character balance and talking about the strengths of the characters, they all made their own separate tier list in the game. And then I guess Goichi made like a general consensus tier list at the end that we'll take a look at as well. But as far as the players that were involved in this little stream right here, Goichi don't need an introduction. Kubo also shouldn't need an introduction. Very strong player in multiple titles. We have Gene, we have Chintada, who you probably know him as Shu, and then we have Jeffrey Mason. He was like an Aoko player back in the classic Melty. And then we have Ranbo, who is Clear Lamp. I believe Clear Lamp right now is playing Shiki. Goichi, I believe, is also playing Maids. I seen him messing around with a few other characters as well, but mainly I think he plays Maids. And I don't really know too much about what everybody else is playing right now. But just looking at the list real quick, you may notice that most of the list only had the characters in S and A. One thing that all of them have definitely been saying, and there was like a little bit of translation that was done by Furman as well, but they were pretty much saying that they think all the characters right now are very strong. Like every character has the capabilities of winning in this game, which is very good, right? This overall balance of the game is good, and I think that plays along the lines of the system mechanics of the game just being so strong and the way the characters can utilize the actual mechanics of the game. Now, what may separate the characters is they were talking about the strengths of characters' moon skills. I think play a very good part in like how strong a character may be. So without a doubt, I think all of them definitely thinks that Shiki has some of the best things inside the game as far as everything that he has at his disposal, his tool set, on top of him having like the moon skills that he do have at his disposal. I want to make a video about Shiki, about like how strong Shiki actually is inside the game a little bit later, so we can actually just break him down a little bit now that we have this general consensus out there and people are starting to take note of, you know, Shiki's strength and stuff like that. But I think it's really cool, man, that we have an S and A rank pretty much. Now, of course, Jeffrey is the only one that went from like C. I think they all also, I don't think this is like actually ordered in any sense. If I remember correctly, they said like it wasn't ordered. It may be. Don't quote me on that. But I think for general, they were all talking about how bad they think Saber is. And when they say bad, they mean bad in the sense of this game, as in like Saber could definitely win. She will definitely mess you up if you don't know what's happening. But as far as her tools compared to what others can do, I think they think hers is the weakest. I don't know how I feel about that. I know some people in the States also feel like this character is mad whack or whatever, but I mean, I don't know, bro. I see people be putting work with this character. I know Diaphone just won a tournament with her and stuff like that. And the thing I guess that really is catching people's eyes also, not only just Saber placement, but the maid placements as well too. So you know, a lot of them talking about Shiki and Miyako, which I can definitely understand those picks. Miyako definitely a very strong presence right now. I believe also we also saw Miyako win a tournament already too. So yeah, we've seen Shiki do his thing, we've seen Miyako do some things, and of course there was SCruff who won with a Hisui not too long, solo Hisui. But the maids in general, like them together, typically the general consensus is there's no reason to play any of the maids by themselves. You might as well just play the maids together because the benefits outweigh the disadvantage of missing one special move. So you basically just lose out on one special move. For Kohaku, you miss out on the grounded wish flight, and for Hisui, you miss out on the item toss. So besides that, you have the complete characters, but they're together. So you have all the added benefits, but you just miss out on those one things that they can't do, which is their 2-1-4 series for both of the characters, because it get replaced by the other maid moves. But the added benefits of what you gain from playing the maids together is so much better than what you lose. So a lot of people are just saying just play the maids together. If you're going to play one of them, you might as well just play them together and get the added benefits, reap the rewards and stuff like that. So it's very interesting to see that they actually don't put them as high, especially now we're on the consensus of the maids having unblockables and stuff like that. Like this apparently was done 2 days ago, so I'm pretty sure they are aware of the unblockables, but I guess they haven't seen it in practical terms yet. Like maybe they haven't been hit by it before. Maybe they just see it in like training room. Like I haven't actually seen no one actually do it in matches and make it look like it was the most broken thing in the world yet. But as people get better with it and it gets easier over time and people are starting to implement it inside of like matches, then I think we'll actually be able to see it. I know SCruff was even saying that he thinks that it could be something that's game breaking with Hisui or Kohaku lead what you're doing. But now also there's also combos I just saw yesterday that came out that people were actually figuring out how to do the unblockables, starting off with Hisui lead. So there's like some type of like routes you can do that you use 2-2C, which is the big cake, and then the cake explode, but down about the time that's happening, you can like switch over to Kohaku and then start the unblockable setup. It's crazy, man. So you know, it's going to be more creative ways to get inside that, because a lot of people feel like Hisui is the better character. So if you're playing Hisui and then you still have a way to do this, it could be very strong, especially as people find more ways to even make it more easier and more oppressive, and they're already finding ways to loop it and stuff like that. So they're interested to see the placement of that. Now, Coma, they've been talking a lot about Coma. And before we talk about Coma, I just want to talk about grabs in general. They're saying throws are very strong in the game. When you up back against a throw, you can't really punish the person when they do that. So it's very hard to punish people just doing regular throws in this game. And that just goes along the lines of just talking about how strong like throw loops are. Like, if you ever seen like, you know, the oppression of like, I don't know, Hisui doing like throw loops into like the lunchbox setups, then like, you know why people are getting thrown so much, or why it seems so oppressive, because it's very hard to like stop it. You could jump out, but you're not probably really punishing her. I don't even think backdash really gets you a punish either, because of how fast throws recover in the game. But just talking about Coleman a little bit, they really feel like, you know, obviously with the shield wars and stuff in this game, he really adds on another layer of that, along with all the options and stuff he has. He also has an unblockable himself. Like, apparently they found out an unblockable with Coma. It don't seem as practical as the maze, where you can do it anywhere in the screen. He can pretty much do it anywhere on the screen, but you don't get any of the reward unless his back is like near the wall. But then someone else found like another way where he could do a combo. He could jump over you and then set it up that way. So if he's near the corner, he like got you near the corner, he could jump over you, put himself or his back towards the corner, and then throw you into the corner to like pick up for a combo. And he does some pretty nice damage too. So character definitely looks very strong, and I can see why they definitely are putting him very high. Overall though, it feels pretty interesting. I think they all feel pretty okay about Roa too. I think Roa is something that they were talking about, which here in the States, I know Roa isn't definitely looked at like a decent character. People think like, some people definitely think Roa and Saber are like some of the worst characters in the game, but I don't honestly know if I agree with that. Why does Shintaro list have Noelle down at the bottom? Oh, I think that's because he hasn't played against the character much, or probably at all. So he just put her in pretty much like he doesn't know tier. Like, he doesn't really understand exactly what his character does yet, so he didn't want to give a placement for it, which is fair, right? If you haven't played much of a character, I haven't played him at all, you probably shouldn't be giving a consensus on how they are. But yeah, let's look at the other list, that the general consensus list real quick, because I think it sort of pairs everything up together quite nicely. All right, so you got to excuse the blurriness of the shot, but this is the screenshot that we got. But you can see, so Goichi made like they said general consensus list after the end of discussion. It's pretty much him condensing the list of all the things that he said together and all the strong points that each person said, and like making it to where like it's an actual tier list rather than just an S and A tier. So this is where things get a little bit interesting, especially what we were talking about before, because obviously we were talking about Shiki being very strong, we talk about Coma being very strong, Miyako, and them talking about them actually believing that Roa is very strong. But then there's the Noelle up here as well. Personally, I don't feel that Noelle is like, I really don't understand why they feel like Noelle is very strong. I haven't really seen a good Noelle do anything that's special or anything like that. I mean, obviously he has the keys. The keys are very good. They're very good for like stopping certain clashes and stuff like that for sure happening. I think her keys actually are probably a bit stronger than like CL's actually. I think they would have to be too, just because they're a limited resource unlike CL's. So it just makes sense that their overall just has, you know, better stuff that they could do with them and stuff like that. But once again, the maids is being in B, and then of course Saber in her lonely C tier. Once again, this is just showcasing how the general consensus of the actual characters, but this isn't really saying that these characters are unplayable. Like, once again, Saber is a strong character. We already seen like Diaphone win tournament with her not too long ago, and just plenty of other people just wrecking with this character. So any character in this game could win. That's one thing they kept stressing, like every character feels strong within this game. So I just want to keep expressing that to you guys, so you guys don't look at this list and be like, I gotta play Shiki, man, or I can't play Saber because the character sucks. No. Every character is strong in this game. You guys got to remember that. But a very interesting list overall, and I think they had some pretty interesting discussions. Too bad it's all in Japanese and stuff like that, so all we could go off of is pretty much the translations. You can read a little bit down here, I think. So yeah, he said like consensus every character is strong, game is balanced. The lists are unordered, but Goichi did state that he thought the top 4 was Tono, Miyako, Coma, and Noelle. Even though his list doesn't reflect that, all except one person said Saber is the worst. So pretty much all of them saying like Saber was bad. They said they never talked about what is strong about Tono. He was just an auto inclusion in top tier. Goichi thinks Noelle can be Tono level with a good player. Noel's strengths that were listed were best neutral in the game, key Oki in invalidating all defensive options, shield, heat, etc. And Kubo was the only one who really mentioned CL. He thinks her neutral is really good. So apparently Noel, apparently to them, has the best neutral in the game. She does seem to have very good buttons. Her JC seems very good. She has that like 2B with the first hit and then the second hit whiffing. I mean, the first hit could whiff and the second hit could go out pretty far. Her 5C has the vacuum effect inside of that and stuff like that. So she has some really good buttons. I don't know how good her frame data actually is, though. I haven't checked hers out. I know Tono definitely has some very amazing frame data, but I haven't really looked at Noel's. I guess you have a very strong neutral game. It doesn't really matter how strong your mix-up tools are, especially if the keys are going to be able to do invalidation of all defensive options. I haven't actually seen a Noel do that. I think I really would have to play a strong Noel player to get this consensus of like what they're doing. But I don't know what they smoking about for the maids, bro, because I think the maids definitely should be up there. Maybe they just haven't fought it yet. Like I said, we'll have to see for sure. Now, in case you've been sleeping on a rock, SCruff just won Pinnacle not too long ago, and he actually put out his tier list of what he thinks the characters are in this game. Once again, he wants to express to do not use this as a way to justify losing. Everyone in the roster is super viable and is weak too. So once again, just another player iterating that every character feels strong within the game. So this is his like sort of tier list for the game. So potential to kill the game. Now this is more like it. This is what I expect to see from a tier list. The maids, right? The maids super strong overall. They just have the potential to do everything, and there's so much tech for them coming out every day to bypass things that players are trying to utilize as far as the defensive mechanics and stuff. The amount of abundance of options they have along with the OSs within the game right now, they are very oppressive, and just a lot of different things that they could do. Obviously just Tono just mad solid, right? Every tool amazing, normals and special moves, top 1 and Nania install. So he believes he is the best character in the game once he has Nania install. Once again, I want to make a video about what makes this character so strong compared to the previous iterations of the character in like classic Melty, and the things they changed in this game that is just like, why does he have these, and like, yeah, why they're so strong. So the next tier in this list, he says amazing tools, Okizeme or neutral. Hisui maids also in this list. So yeah, he has like right here. So Hisui maids also in this. So you think the maids right here. So Hisui maids right here. I guess he's thinking about Kohaku maids at the top, and then Hisui maids also like right here with the Okizeme characters right here. So for overall, this is how he feels about these characters. Now this is how I felt about Noel at the time. Has good tools, but don't shine in anything particular. I haven't really seen Noel seem like she's very strong. Like very slow overheads, both of them, the charge one and then like the regular one. She has like the pressure resets, but don't seem that crazy. Her neutral tool seems good, but it also seems like they have a lot of recovery. CL, once again, she has the keys as well, but the keys, her keys particular, could definitely be clashed against and stuff. So I just feel like she sort of get like this, I don't know, if she don't have a bar to make herself safe, and even not really making herself safe, but to like catch you from trying to like over push yourself with her like full screen super, then it's really sort of hard for her. I got a set that I want to put up against her versus Mashiki, just showcase a little bit of a high level CL. But yeah, overall very good. And then strong tools but have noticeable weaknesses. So it's very interesting that he actually thinks Miyako is not that good in Roa. So we start to see like, and this is where I usually like to say that a game that has a difference of opinions of this drastic is a truly balanced game, right? When you got a player of like SCruff's caliber, and then like players of like Goichi and Kubo caliber, and then like they're saying no, Miyako and Roa, like these characters are like up here, and then like you have SCruff that's saying like, I think they got some noticeable weaknesses, strong tools, but like, you know, he putting them down below, and then Goichi's like, nah, this top four material, and like, you know, so this difference is truly making like a balanced game, because no one really knows. Once again, it's week 2 of the game. No one really knows what's super strong right yet. There's tech for characters coming out every single day. The meta is going to change as far as like how people perceive characters, what people find is going to change, how people play characters, and what things that people are going to be doing. You know, if I don't know, Akia comes out with a crazy unblockable the next day, then all of a sudden she may rise up to the tier list. Or Saber, if she comes out with an unblockable that's super strong, that's a loopable unblockable that's taking out 50% of your life, she may become a strong character. It all depends on what tech comes out within the end of the day and how players are playing the characters. But I think, like I said before at the very beginning, the mechanics of the game are also driving characters to be stronger than they would appear on paper. So because of the mechanics of the game and because how strong moon drives and certain things are within the game, it makes every character in this game seemingly viable because the mechanics of the game are just that strong. So I guess that makes an overall balanced game in that sense. So while we may hate the mechanics in that sense as far as being too strong, I guess we got to give it props to actually just making the game overall more balanced than I guess any other iteration I can think of as far as Melty Blood goes, because some versions of Melty Blood haven't been very balanced back in the days. But yeah, man, looking pretty good. Yo, Dyken, you seen the game breaking Rowan mix? You think that's gonna make him top tier? Look, man, if you willing to do some crazy mess like that and put yourself in a game breaking state to where you literally about to lose the game, hey man, them Rowan players out there crazy, bro. That's all I gotta say about that. Y'all, wow.